disciples realized that if the Holy Spirit was coming, they remember the prophecies from the book of Joel, which was almost always linked to the coming of the Holy Spirit with a political reign, a political theocracy. So they say to them, listen, Jesus, is the time now? Are you going to do it now? Will you, at this time, restore the kingdom of Israel? And Jesus says, listen, it's not for you to know. The times or seasons, the holidays on the garden. What's interesting is here in verse 6, the disciples make two great errors that people are making today. It's made 2,000 years later. The first is focusing primarily on politics, the government, and second, trying to figure out when the end will come. The two biggest issues in the Christian faith today, to me, is politics and overrealized eschatology. I'm going to explain. See, I mean, you guys all know. I mean, the politics of what's going on today is crazy. People realize that evangelical Christianity is an affinity group. If you can steer that affinity group, you can win elections. Harlan Grove, he brilliant political strategist, whether or not you agree with his politics. I mean, he, during 2 elections, he mobilized a huge niche group and won 2 elections. Now you have a whole bunch of other people, I think Glenn Beck is in this group, where what they're doing is now they're trying to, again, grab that affinity group. Now you might be a big Glenn Beck fan, that's between you and God. Nothing with me. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying that in a negative way either. You know what I mean? Politics aside. But what it is people are trying to take the church of Jesus Christ and use it as an affinity group to win elections. And you know what the thing is? The church has lost its grab, its hold of Jesus. So we're looking for something to get behind. And I'm on Facebook, that still goes on. People are more passionate about conservative politics or liberal politics than they are about the reality of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's going on both sides of the aisle. Because people are more fascinated by trying to fix human governments than by trying to win human hearts so that their hearts may be changed. The reason that we need the government so much is because people's hearts are messed up. If Christian people and people knew Jesus, they really lived out the gospel, there'd be no need for welfare because the church would be taking care of it. There'd be no moral problem because the reason people hold immoral views is because they're not filled with the Holy Spirit. They're given over to their own ways. We all know that stuff. So all of the issues, they really get fixed by the gospel. But what Satan and what people have done is they've just taken the church and they've made us a pinball in a political game. We're focused on restoring America to conservative values. It's like, what? Man, the Bible, the New Testament teaches that God is not focused on one people group and on one government. He's focused on all of the world. As opposed to some niche political group. The disciples made their like, listen, hey, are you going to restore the kingdom now? Are you going to make the government of Israel righteous now? And that was going to come and pardon their knees before us. That's exactly what's going on today. And then, of course, the overrealized eschatology. Now, we don't do that a lot here, but there's a lot of churches that do. Where every Sunday, oh, look at this thing that's happening here, and it's lining up with the Antichrist and this and that. And there are people who have made their whole livelihood on this stuff. You know, you sign up for their newsletter the first year, 6 months is free, and then you get hooked on it. You need it, you pay whatever they give you. And every sermon is about taking the world and taking what's going on and reading it into the book of Revelation. So it doesn't matter what's going on, they've been doing it for years. This and that. Listen. We know that Jesus is going to come back, and we know that he's going to come to the thief in the night. And whatever's going on around us, our job is not to be worried about all this stuff. Our job is to be on point, preaching and proclaiming the gospel. But there's a lot of overrealized eschatology going on. You know, and that's why people, their ears are tuning off to it because for so long, here it is, it's within 40 years of the coming of the nation of Israel. And then 1987 passed, and I was like, wow. And it's this, and it's this. And the reality is when Jesus comes back, it's going to come as a thief in the night. So rather than freaking out about the world, let's just focus on Jesus. Doesn't, you know, it's all going on, as it has always gone. I love Jesus. It's not for you to know the time and seasons. My Father's put his own authority. But notice, but. Verse 8. I love the word but. Only got one T. Don't get nervous. One of my favorite biblical words are but. Because it's a contrast. It's like instead of freaking out about politics, instead of freaking out about eschatology, the end times, instead of freaking, but you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses to me in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. That's my third P. The power to be witnesses, right? We started with the proof of the resurrection, and then we got to the promise of the Holy Spirit, and now in verse 8 we get the power to be witnesses. Listen, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you. Man, would to God, the Holy Spirit comes, you receive power. Notice, and you shall be witnesses.